And from my perspective, as you know, it also reflects a stunning naivete about the very nature of ADHD. The reason I'm laughing is I have been talking about this distinction for more than 20 years when it comes to ADHD. And I'm going to go over it again. I've covered it about a year or so ago in a previous video. ADHD is not a knowledge disorder. It's a performance disorder. So I want you to think of your brain very simplistically as a two-part brain. There is the back part of the brain where we acquire information and store it, okay? That's the knowledge brain. There is the front part of the brain, which is a motor brain. It is a performance brain. It is designed for action, right? And it is this front part of the brain that is going to activate that back part of the brain to call up the knowledge from our previous experience and to use it to govern ongoing future-directed behavior. It's going to use the knowledge to perform more effectively. So the front part of the brain is largely a performance brain. The back part is the knowledge brain. They need to work together in order for us to pursue our future and long-term welfare. And ADHD splits that brain, and I know that's simplistic, it really doesn't separate the brain, but in essence, it really does. Because the knowledge that's activated doesn't come forward to guide behavior. It may not even be activated. The lack of hindsight before people with ADHD engage in action. But even if they do show some hindsight, there is no guarantee that recalling the relevant past is going to influence current behavior, right? So that knowing does not carry over into doing. It's not a problem of knowing what to do, it's a problem of doing what you know. And largely, that's what ADHD is all about. And this pills versus skills distinction completely ignores this fundamental principle about the nature of ADHD. And I will go to my grave emphasizing this point. Stop treating people with ADHD as if they're stupid. They're not. They're as knowledgeable as the rest of us. But help them to show what they know. And in that case, that is exactly what the pills do. John Wherry made this point 50 years ago in his textbook on psychopharmacology for ADHD in the chapter on stimulants. What stimulants do is to allow us to use what we know. They don't give us knowledge, that's true. There's no skill in a pill. So what? You don't need it. You need the pill because the pill corrects for the disconnection between the knowledge and performance brain, allowing that knowledge to not only be activated and come forward, but most importantly, to guide behavior. It's the governance of behavior by our experience, by our knowledge, that is so problematic for people with ADHD, which is why simply teaching them more knowledge, more skills, is not going to solve their problems. They're not going to be able to implement those skills in daily life out there without you, because the problem is in using what they know. And giving them more knowing isn't going to help them with more doing. Now, finally, it fails to make an important distinction between skills, which is knowledge of how to do something, and accommodations, which is rearranging the environment around us to make us less impaired by our deficits. Now, certainly we can do a little bit of skill training for people with ADHD if it appears that they don't know appropriate skills or behavior. But as I said, that's not very common unless there's been an opportunity for learning. More importantly, what we do, what coaching does, what CBT does, what other interventions for ADHD that are psychologically based do, is teach you how to reorganize that environment to reduce the impairment you experience from your symptoms so you can be more effective in your daily life. And this pills versus skills naive distinction doesn't focus on that important difference. Accommodations are very important for people with ADHD, not just teaching them how to act. So I hope that in this video you've learned how to confront people who bring up this rather ridiculous, in my opinion, distinction between skills, oh, how great they are, they imply, versus pills, oh, what a terrible idea. You're just covering things up, when actually it's the other way around. The pills are better than the skills because A, you don't need the skills so much, and B, the problem is in doing what you know, performing what you know. And that's what the pills allow people with ADHD to do. Thanks very much. This is Russ Barkley signing off again.